What's going on? Welcome to another live edition of Real Fans Real Talk. Sorry we're a little bit late today, guys, but we're gonna get straight into it. I do apologize, and I do got some bonus stuff for y'all that we're gonna rock out with today. But before we jump into everything that's been going on in the sports world, let me introduce my co-host, my brother, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on, man?
What's really good, bro? You already know. Let's get to it. We got a lot to get to on the rundown. I already see the comments. They think we're not gonna get through every question and comment, so let's just get to
it. We're gonna speed walk today. We're gonna speed walk. Don't worry, y'all. We got you. All right. Let me just jump straight in. Who we got? First of all, shout out to Kyrie. Congrats to the Boston Celtics for winning the 2024 title all year. They've been the best team. Congratulations, yes, the Boston Celtics. Paul Pierce, you still a goofy, but that's neither here nor there. Eric, I'll let you get into it.
Nah, definitely. Shout out to them. They were the best team. They were the most consistent team all year, and they made it look easy. You know, I wanted them to be challenged a little bit more, but I mean, hey, what can you say? They handled their business in every series. 16-3 in the playoffs, I believe, is the second best all-time record since it's gone to a 16-win format to win the finals. I think that's the second best record that we've ever seen. So a historic run, a great regular season by the metrics, by the numbers. Stat Geeks said this Boston team ranked, I think, as a top 10 team all time, just by numbers. And then to have the playoff run they had was phenomenal. So definitely shout out to those guys. And I think it's a great teaching moment for the rest of the league because the Boston Celtics did do this the right way. They built it up from their two young stars that they drafted. They built around them with smart moves and smart trades. Brad Stevens realized he couldn't really get through to them as a head coach and moved to the front office and found a way. And Joe Mazzulla, who he was the butt of everyone's jokes last year when he got outcoached by Eric Spoelstra, he learned his lesson. And this year he was phenomenal in the playoffs and he outcoached Jason Kidd in the finals.
Yeah, he did. You got to tip your hat to the Boston Celtics. Where they go from here, I don't know, but they got the job done this season. They did what they were supposed to do. Like you said, they were the best team this season. So, all right, big shout out to the Boston Celtics on that. Let me see what we got next. Oh, here we go. Were you okay with Jaylen Brown winning Finals MVP? Yeah, I mean we said it. We said it last week. Jason Tatum would have had to have the best iconic, most crazy performance ever at that point in the series to get Finals MVP. Because you got to think, right? The series ended in 5 games, right? So Jaylen Brown was pretty much Jaylen Brown throughout all 5 of those games. Obviously, he had the bad game, the game they lost, but everybody had a bad game, the game they lost. But they're not up 3-1 without Jaylen Brown doing what he did games 1 and game 2. And then again, he still was contributing games 3 through 5. So yeah, he deserved it. He should have got it. I would have actually been upset if they went and tried to give the Finals MVP to Jason Tatum.
I think Tatum got better as the series went on, but you can't overlook what Jaylen Brown did on both ends of the court and how he really set the tone for this series. I think early on in games 1 and game 2. So going into game 5, as I said, to me, Jaylen Brown was leading the way, in my opinion, for Finals MVP, and it is well deserved. But I don't think I would have been too mad if Tatum did win it because, like I said, Tatum, I think, came on stronger as the series went on.
Yeah. I think if the series had gotten extended and Tatum continued to elevate, then you could make the case to give him the award. But for the series that have been closed out in 5, you got to go with Jaylen Brown because he's been consistent throughout games 1 through 5. He didn't just turn up the last 2 games and now we're like, oh, let's throw him the MVP. No, he was the best player on that team pretty much throughout this series.
Yeah, I thought he set the tone early. And let's not forget his defense on Luka was very impactful in the series as well. So Jaylen Brown, I think the right guy won. But that's not to take anything away from Jason Tatum because, like I said, I thought Jason Tatum did get better from game 3 on. He impressed and he progressed, I should say, throughout the series. He had a slow start, but by game 3, he started to play better. I just think Jaylen Brown set the tone early in this series. He set the tone defensively. He set the tone with his aggression offensively, and it is a well-deserved Finals MVP.
Facts. So congratulations to him. Listen, he earned it. You know what I'm saying? Jaylen Brown's resume looks very good right now. With Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and now the Finals MVP, obviously along with winning the championship. You got to love it. Congratulations to Jaylen Brown. That's what you call earning your paycheck. To get that to be the highest paid player in the league, and that $200+ million contract that he got from the Boston Celtics, that's earning your paycheck right there.
Absolutely.
So I tip my hat to Jaylen Brown. Let me see what Ron Charles got to say. Shout out to Ron. This may hurt some fans watching, but Kyrie Irving, a star player, let the Mavs down. We praised you against T-Wolves. Some saying best backcourt ever. Looked average. I guess he's trying to say let's be real. Yeah, I mean, listen, Kyrie had a bad series. He did. I'm glad though that this wasn't like this was like his first time being in this situation, and it was like a bad one, because we've seen Kyrie be great in an NBA Finals before. The matchups just it's different when you got guys, so many different defenders that they could throw at Kyrie Irving that are really good defenders. You have two all defensive wing players with White and Holiday, and then Jaylen Brown, who's just as good as a defender as those two guys. Then Jason Tatum might get thrown out there at some point or another, just to switch things up. But I'm not going to just put this whole thing, the whole loss on Kyrie, because he offensively, he could have been a lot better. But we got to hold some other people accountable too. We got to hold Jason Kidd accountable, because he got outcoached. He got completely outcoached from the gate. We got to hold Luka accountable. I can't let you slide just because I know that the offensive numbers is astronomical, but the amount of times I done seen guys go right past Luka and score a bucket in this series is crazy. So, Luka, you better take this offseason, work on your defense, brother. Now, I don't know if that means, because sometimes guys can get away with, if they're a little bit more athletic and can just stay with a person, you can get away with that. But with Luka, he's not that athletic freak like that, to where he's just staying with guys. And I'm talking about beyond Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I'm talking about the other guys was just doing whatever they wanted whenever Luka was on them. It's kind of like, when you be in the park and it's just like, oh yeah, we got one bucket. Who want to score this time? All right, we put him on Luka.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. How is that any different than the other playoff series leading up to the finals?
They wasn't exposed like this because they was.
If you look at the numbers, his drive-by rate was terrible in every series in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I just think that it became a narrative because they lost the series. When you're winning the series, people overlook that. And so to me, I think there's a lot of blame on Kyrie. And I love this statement by Ron because we praise Kyrie, myself included, for the way he played against Minnesota and the way he came out and became like the true, wing and co-star with Luka. Yeah. The reason that myself and a lot of other people thought the Mavs had a chance, I'm not even saying just to win, but people thought Mavs had a chance, was because Kyrie was supposed to be the veteran with the most experience in this finals. He played in 3 previous NBA finals. So we were all thinking he's going to carry it over and he will be a guy who can set the tone and really help Luka in this series. Because as I've said many times, me picking the Mavs wasn't about the Mavs being the better team. I thought Boston was the better team. I just thought the Mavs had the better player. And if Kyrie was going to look the way he did in the Minnesota series, they were going to be very difficult to beat. But he played really, really bad in this series. And he let them down. I mean, he had games, again, where we're talking 14 points on 6 of 17 shooting. He wasn't great defensively either. Luka could be better defensively, yes, absolutely. But to me, the biggest eyesores of this series for Dallas was how poorly Jason Kidd coached. And the fact that Kyrie, who was supposed to be their number 2, up until game 3, Kyrie was averaging 14 points. Kyrie had one big game in the series, and that was the game 4 desperation. Other than that, he was really, really bad in the series. And if you're Dallas, it's gonna bother you all off season because this is supposed to be the guy who's out number 2.
Yeah, and let me be clear. I'm not absolving Kyrie because I'm giving him just as much blame too. But if we're gonna pick this thing apart, I gotta tell y'all where everybody could have stepped their game up. And from Luka, he's gonna have to step up on the defensive end, and the rest of those role players. They outside of was that game 4, they really got nothing from the role players, and those were the guys that really were making the difference earlier in the rounds in the playoffs. Because we know what Luka's gonna do.
Right.
He's been
Right.
consistent.
But that's why I say the drive-by, to me, the drive-by rate that everybody likes to talk about, as you highlighted about high-by, that was happening against the Clippers. That was happening against OKC. That was happening against Minnesota. Nobody cared about it because they were still able to get the offensive production from everyone else. But as you just mentioned, when everyone else didn't show up, and I'm really being specific about Kyrie, when those guys didn't show up, then it became easy to criticize Luka's defense. Luka has never been a good defensive player.
Yeah.
So, like, let's not pretend now that he was supposed to turn into a great defensive player in the finals. This is who he's always been.
Yeah. It's just because on the biggest stage, it's going to get blown out of proportion. But I'm just saying I just want to note that's where he does need to step up. But then, the role players, you guys got to step up too. Like you gave your stars nothing outside of game 4. You gave your stars nothing. And these are guys that got them there to that point. Their bigs got them there. Their role players, their bench. PJ, we spoke so highly of PJ Washington coming into this series. He gave them nothing the entire series, pretty much. So they really gonna have to go back to the drawing board and see. And again, the crazy thing is who knows? You put Dallas against a different team, maybe the outcome is different. But we've seen like with these matchups, right? We were like, oh, damn, the way Minnesota just dominated Denver, they should be the ones going all the way. But then they got a different style of play that they got to go against. And then now look what happened. The Mavericks here. Oh, the Mavericks, they gonna do it. But then depending on who's in front of you, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to tweak some things, change some things. And that's why I do want to start, at the head of the ship with Jason Kidd, and that's my guy.
Completely out coach in the series.
Yeah. So I think the first person that needs to go back to the drawing board, and I'm not saying they need to get rid of Jason Kidd. I still think Jason Kidd is a good coach, and I'm not gonna just base everything off of one series, even though that's the biggest series. I'm not gonna just base his whole coaching off of that one series, but he's got to figure out some things in a situation like this where, and again, and maybe maybe there was just nothing that Dallas could have done differently. We don't know, maybe, right? But it's 50-50. You're gonna have to do something different because you did not put your team in the best position to win this series, and you were out coached by so you got to do better, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things. To me, the Luka defense, that just becomes one of these clickbait type conversations. Because again, like I said, point to me at any series in Luka's career that you said Luka was great defensively in. He has always been a liability defensively. And guess what? For most of Steph Curry's career, he's been a liability defensively. We know that already. That you're not winning or losing a series based off of Luka's defense. You're winning it off of Luka's going to play well, and then can we get one or two other guys to play well that can get us in position to win this game? They didn't get that. Jason Kidd got out coached. I said from game 1, I wasn't too fond of like some of his substitution patterns. I thought he was trying to get a little too cute with guys early on, especially on the road. Game 1, game 2 on the road, you got to find a way to win one of those games. And with the length off between games, I think he should have pushed the limit a little bit more with minutes played and said, I'm going to stick with the guys that I trust the most. I don't care if I only played 6 or 7 guys, but it was times in game 1, he played, I think, 11 guys. Like you can't go into a game 1 and you still, and like you're tinkering with your lineup as to who you want to play. Like I need to know the guys I want to play. And we had this conversation. Shout out to the supporters because they are very knowledgeable. We know that we have these type of conversations all the time. But keep in mind, guys, y'all criticize like Thibodeau, like, oh, Thibodeau's only playing 7 guys. Playoff time, you got to play the guys you like the most. I can't give a guy minutes and hope that he plays well. I need the guys that I like and I can trust the most. And to me, Kidd was getting way too cute with the minutes. Then he played Hardaway. He waited to game 3 to play Hardaway Jr. He waited to game 4 to play Dante Exum. These were guys that were playing in the OKC series. These were guys that were playing in the Minnesota series, and for whatever reason, they didn't really play in game 1 or 2 in Boston. So it was almost like Jason Kidd didn't even know what rotation he wanted to go with in this series. Joe Mazzulla, we got to give him a lot of credit because he completely outcoached Jason Kidd at every turn. Shout out to Will Gordon. I see him in the comment section. There was one point, even when Will Gordon was frustrated that Maxi Kleber was playing so much, because it's like, why is he still out there? The guy can't defend anybody. He's a very limited offensive player, because if he's not knocking down the pick and pop 3, he can't give you much. And yet you're still giving him minutes. Well, I don't know what Jason Kidd was thinking.
I don't know. Let me go to Pooh. Shout out to Pooh. Jason Tatum having the year, ain't he? All NBA first team, NBA title, will get his second Olympic gold. LMA is pregnant. Who's having a better year? The only person that's having a better year than Jason Tatum is Kendrick. That's about it. But other than that, I don't think nobody's having a better year than Jason Tatum right now. I mean, you coming off of All NBA to winning your first championship, to about to go to the Olympics, and then I don't think there's a doubt in anybody's mind that he's going to get his second Olympic gold medal.
The only person in the NBA that's having a better year than Jason Tatum is Drea. She having a great year.
Oh no, you know, Drea, yeah.
Within the league, she's having a better. It's an
MVP
caliber season for her.
Facts. Oh my goodness! Hold on, I see one more Tatum comment. Go to Will's comment. I'm gonna throw Will's comment up here because I seen he's questioning our how we feel about Jason Tatum. Let me see if I can find that comment.
From who?
Comment? From Will. I think it was Will that had that comment. Oh no, that was Imani actually. Shout out to Imani.
Oh yeah.
Imani says, "Why do I feel Eric or both of y'all kind of? I won't say y'all hate Tatum, but Eric, from my standpoint, don't seem impressed by him. Maybe I'm wrong. First of all, I like Tatum. I'm a Duke fan, so I followed Jason Tatum since he's been in college. But the reason that I guess maybe it could kind of get construed as a dislike, or I don't even know if dislike is really the word. It's just that because we've been having the discussion about who's the alpha on that team, whether it's been him or Jaylen Brown. So this doesn't have anything to do with Jason Tatum. It's solely in the discussion of who's the alpha on that team. Is it Jaylen Brown or is it Jason Tatum? And from what I've seen, it's Jaylen Brown. So that was my only thing. Like I want everybody that play for Duke to be number one all the time if they can. But I still, we still gotta, hold you accountable, put your feet to the fire sometimes and say, all right, well, if you're supposed to be the best player on this team, you being outplayed right now. Somebody else is showing that they're the best player on this team, and that's Jaylen Brown. And it's been shown yet again because he went out there and got that Finals MVP.
I wouldn't say it definitely isn't hate, because I've spoken very highly of Jason Tatum plenty of times. And shout out to Amani for the question. Last week, Pooh, I think, asked something similar. And I'll say kind of what I said then, and I'll add to it. To me, I feel like he's plateaued a little bit in his game. And I think I personally, I can't speak for Trip. I think there's more to his game, and I think Jason Tatum could go up another level. And maybe I'm just being too harsh of a critic. He is young. He's 26 years old, but he's played in a lot of meaningful basketball. Like we talked about last week, when I wrote down, he's played in over 130 playoff games at this point. So we've seen a lot of Jason Tatum in big moments. And I feel like too often he will settle for long threes and jumpers. He'll settle when there's a smaller defender on him. He won't be as aggressive. And I'm taking the alpha dog part of the conversation out of it. It ain't even got to be about the alpha dog. It's just him personally. I think there's so much more that he can add to his game, that he's so nonchalant about it, that he's just relying on his natural athleticism and relying on some things that have already worked, but it's almost refusing to add to it. So it's not that I definitely don't hate on him. I like his game. And it's not that I'm not impressed by him, because I do agree that he is a first-team All-NBA caliber guy. I just think that there's more there, that it's almost like we know he can be better, even better than what he is, but he's almost refusing to get to that point. For a guy that shoots less than 30% from three and yet consistently still shoots 6 3-pointers a game is crazy. Like, you don't knock down enough threes to settle for that shot, and yet you will settle for that shot anytime that a defender is smaller than you. You feel like, oh, I can just elevate over him. You're shooting like 27% from three.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest, Eric. I know you say you feel like he may have another level he can get to. I don't know if he does because it's not like he's. I mean, obviously the finals numbers in the beginning, we would like them to be a little, be better. But just regular season numbers, he's averaging 27, 8, and 5. I don't know how much better he is from being a 27, 8, and 5 player. You know what I'm saying? And again, he is one of the best players in the league
Of
right
course.
now. I just don't know if there's another level that he can go to. Like I said, he's averaging 27, 8, and 5 right now. Shot 47% from the field this season. Those are, I mean, guys would kill to have those numbers. You know what I mean? I just don't know where he goes from there. I mean, maybe he go up to 27, 28, but I mean from 28, 29, but it's not really. I don't know if there's much more where he could go. Obviously, you want to see him be more efficient, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know if there's this level that he's going to be able to now ascend to from here. I think we're seeing the best version of Jason Tatum.
I don't think so. I think there is another level for him, and this goes back to when you and I had the back and forth about the alpha dog on the team and what he has to do. And like I said, it's about playing with a level of efficiency. It's about like he can get. I think he can really get to a point where he can be far more efficient in getting his points. Right now, to me, he has these spurts in games, like I said before, where you could go through a whole quarter of the game and he has no impact on the game. And for somebody who is as talented as he is and has the potential that he has, there's a reason why our supporters have asked several weeks in a row, what is it going to take for Jason Tatum to be the face of the league? Because I think we all see it. We see the potential there. But there are moments where you could watch the game and for a quarter and a half, he has no impact on the game. And for somebody that's that talented, you can't to me drift in and out of games. You got to be much more efficient. I think he's a guy that can easily average 30 a game and do it effortlessly if he stops settling for bad shots. He settles for a lot of bad shots. And he's another guy that one of the reasons that I think it took Boston maybe a little longer to get over the hump. And I don't mean that in a bad way because they did it the right way. They progressed and they got better year in, year out. And this is their second finals in 3 years. And they were in 6 of the last 7 Eastern Conference finals. So they've done it the right way. They've progressed. But one of the reasons that it took them a little while to get over the hump was because they had such poor fourth quarter execution where Tatum would have these really bad turnovers late in games. And Tatum would try to go ISO ball and settle for these bad shots. I think if he develops a better efficiency to his game, he could easily average 30 a night and be a 50, 40, 90 guy where he could shoot 50% from the field, 40 from three, 90 from the free throw line because his efficiency will go up. But right now, like I said, he has too many possessions where he will just settle. He will settle for a 3-point shot just because, it's there, as opposed to I can get a better shot. That's my point with Jason Tatum.
Listen, if there's another level he can get to, I hope he does get there. But again, it's gonna be show and prove. We're gonna take a break really quick. I'm gonna go to Dion Hoops page comment. Yes, we were supposed to have Maxwell Pearce on tonight, but his flight got delayed 2 hours and he's in the Midwest right now. But I did what I did because I didn't want y'all to think we was out here capping. I told him, yo, send me over a video so at least the people will know what's up. So let me go to that video real quick. I'm gonna play that video Maxwell sent over for us. Give me 1 second.
What's going on, y'all? It's Max Pearce here. Just want to apologize. I will not be able to be on the episode tonight for Real Fans Real Talk. My flight got delayed. I'll still be in the air while we're supposed to be filming the episode. So next week, I will be there, ready to interact with y'all. Salute.
All right, so don't be thinking when we be telling y'all stuff, we just be saying it. All right, that's Maxwell Pearce's family. So he's definitely he'll be with us next week. He hit me up before. He said he wouldn't have been able to get on until like 9:45, and Eric and I had already even before the Eric could say neither one of us could do it. We had long weekends working and doing everything that we've been doing. So I told Maxwell don't worry about it. And then I just asked him. I said, but Joe, send me a video over though, so I can at least show the supporters what's going on. Y'all heard it from you know what I'm saying from Maxwell Pearce himself. He will be with us next week. While we're talking Maxwell Pearce, I'm gonna dropped this video from the dunk contest from Ballin for Peace. Big shout out to my guy, Focus Frames, put everything together for us. He sent me over the video yesterday. It was yesterday, the day before yesterday, but I told him I was going to drop it on tonight's show. So I'm going to drop that right now for you guys.
What's going on, Juco?
All right, and that's right, Hoop Baller Scoop. I just had to come with the receipts. I want y'all to think, because we be telling y'all, because you know what it is that, see, we actually have legitimate relationships with the majority of the people that come onto the show. You know what I mean? It's not just, oh, we seen somebody, or we we called the publicist or something like that. No, we actually have personal relationships with a lot of the guests that come onto the show. So, you know what I'm saying? I just want to let y'all know how we out here rocking and rolling. Again, congrats to Maxwell Pearce. He's now the first ever Ballin for Peace dunk contest champion and the only two-time Ballin for Peace dunk contest champion. But again, he will be with us next week. So we're gonna get back, and y'all can, whatever questions y'all have for Maxwell, just save them for next week, and we'll get to all of those questions as well. And yeah, I know that was Shushu. We're gonna get Shushu back too. He'll be on the program. So these are people that we have personal relationships. So I know y'all probably be a little bit more offended than we are if a guest don't come onto the show. But Eric and I know, you know what I'm saying, because we speak to these guys not just on are they about to come onto the show and we speak to these guys. No, we're speaking to these guys throughout the year. So, you know what I'm saying, so we got different type of relationships. But I'd still ask him to send that video over, because I didn't want to, I knew I was gonna be a little disappointed, but I just wanted y'all to know, to hear it from the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying? He'll be back rocking with us. And yes, we did give him the $500 cash prize. So big shout out to Maxwell Pearce. Congratulations too, because he just got engaged as well. So big shout out to Maxwell Pearce. We're gonna get into all of that next week. Let me start running through the rest of these questions. Let me go get back up top. What we are seeing? Okay, here we go. Shout out to Justin Frizione. Big game in the WNBA yesterday. Sky versus Fever. Angel Reese had a coming out party. 25 points, 15 rebounds. A couple of shots. I think she had like 5 assists in that game. She been getting a lot of doubles. Caitlin played solid, but these two ladies had the world watching, as they should, and as the WNBA should be pushing this. I think this was this was the highest selling game so far. Was like five. The average ticket was it was either 358 or 536. It's one of those two numbers was like the average ticket price. I forget. They posted it on the screen. Excuse me, but I did see it.
Yeah, this was the in terms of tickets, it was the highest price game.
Yeah, and well worth it because they are pushing the storylines. We keep saying this is the women's version of Magic versus Bird. It started in college with the rivalry, them playing each other. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. Everybody remembers this, and LSU getting them rings, and then now into the WNBA. But this game here, I text Eric during the game. I said, they are doing what they're supposed to do. They are going to we're going to continue to see the support for the WNBA grow, and it's going to be in large part to the storylines that are coming with these two young ladies. I'm so happy for both of them. I mean, I'm more of an Angel Reese fan myself, but I'd like to support the sisters. But Caitlin Clark did her thing. And we really need to be, we should be talking about these ladies the way we are and more.
Yeah, I think it was phenomenal. The performance they both put on yesterday with a double-double. They both actually played really well over the last 2 weeks as well. They've got more comfortable with the WNBA game. So I think it's great to see that rivalry is growing. And I look forward to more matchups between them.
Yeah. I watched it. Then I went back. I watched the highlights of that game. You gotta love Angel Reese and what she brings to the team, because she was everywhere in that game. And I know you could tell that game meant something to her. Like it meant a lot more. It wasn't just a regular game. It was because she understands that even though she gets a lot of talk, the bulk of the talk has been about Caitlin Clark. So I know she went in there with a little chip on her shoulder and said, "Hold up, don't forget, I'm the one that won the chip off of her. Let's not forget. Let me show y'all some." She had her best scoring night with the 25 piece that she put up. So yeah, big shout out to Angel Reese. Let me go to Justin.
Pull a character for that one. Who's a character for that one?
Oh my
god! She talk about your mans. That's what she's talking.
Oh my goodness! I'll put that one aside. And who's leading so far in the WNBA Rookie of the Year? It's close now. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I mean I had her in the lead before this game or before the last 2 weeks. I have Angel Reese in the lead for Rookie of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, everyone loves the points, but she's been averaging a double-double for most of the season.
Right.
She's got the most double-doubles right now for a rookie. You know what I mean? So I actually had her with the edge. But again, when you're talking about the Rookie of the Year awards, the MVP awards, things like that, these matchups matter. And I think that this last game, so a couple of voters that was maybe just because they're just already penciled in to say Caitlin Clark. I think they watched this game and said, "Wait a minute, we may need to start looking at Angel Reese a little bit differently now and looking at what she's doing, because she's actually having a very great rookie season and doing some things that not a lot of rookies have done."
Yeah, I think it is very close. If we've had to vote today, I would lean more towards Angel Reese, because right now Angel Reese in Chicago would be in the playoffs. So I would give the nod there, because I think the impact of a rookie on a team and then the winning aspect of it can't be overlooked. If Caitlin Clark, if they are the team that gets in the playoffs and the Chicago Sky don't, then I think I would lean more towards Caitlin Clark, because they had the number one pick. And as the worst team in the league last year to then make the playoffs with this rookie, you would have to give a little more credence that way. But right now, the way it stands, Chicago has a slight edge, and Angel Reese has been phenomenal. So I would give it to Angel Reese as well.
Pooh, that was like reverse affirmative action.
Pooh, you gotta speak to Trip about his generous deeds out here. A very generous guy, giving people opportunities.
Let me see what else we got here. Hold on. Let me see what Pooh says. Y'all check out tonight. Quincy Wilson 16-year-old at the Olympic trials tonight. Okay. Okay, we'll check him out. 16-year-old. Okay.
I saw a clip from the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Shikari too. She getting ready. I hate to say she getting ready to smoke some things because of the situation.
I mean, it's a good choice of words, though. It is a good choice of words.
No pun intended. But she's out here looking good too. Big shout out to Shikari Richardson as well. Well, Gordon, what it do, baby? Let me go to this one. Hold on. I'm gonna go to Ron again. Yo, after seeing Angel and Caitlin, if I'm USA basketball, you could have added them even if they don't play. One of you all said this a few weeks ago. I agree with it now, but gotta be fair. Yeah, that's what I said. That because of the storylines, yes, you know what I'm saying. And because then it's like okay, yeah, because it's we kind of the people like the narrative is that's being pushed is Caitlyn is or one of the narratives is that Caitlyn is getting favoritism, right? But if you had said we're gonna put Caitlyn and Angel Reese on the Olympic team, I think that changes a lot. So and it would have been incredible for women's basketball to have both of those two on, and they were gonna play because again, when we talk about the women's team USA, they are the most dominant basketball team ever.
Yeah.
So they would have got some time at the end of some of them games. Now there's gonna be a lot of blowouts.
I just think that. So, and I said this last week. I felt they missed an opportunity. Even as we continue to progress and talk about this thing, most of the women on the team, and it's not to say that they deserve the spot more than anyone else. It's not to say Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark deserved it more than anyone else. But when you look at the team, most of the women that are on the team are in their mid to late 20s, early 30s, aside from Diana Taurasi, who's 40. Right? By the time the next Olympics come around, more than half this team probably won't want to go to the Olympics or won't be playing to go to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So this would have been a perfect opportunity to kind of roll out the red carpet for the fresh faces of the league. And this is why I was talking about the business side of it, where you can use Caitlin Clark and even Angel Reese as kind of the promotion for this is where the league is growing. Like you said, this is our bird and magic. This is the direction we're growing as a sport for women's basketball. Missed opportunity, but it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, it is what it is. No debating they'll be on the next one. So we just got to wait.
Right. I think it's right. It looks pretty good that they will be on the next one, especially since again they both started to progress as rookies. One of the things that I've always talked about as well, I think the comment section was too harsh, more so on Caitlin Clark. We were talking a lot more about Caitlin Clark and her struggles. Now that she seems a little more comfortable with the speed of play at the WNBA, you're starting to see that she's playing better.
The good thing about the next Olympics in 4 years is we will have the big four on that Olympic team because
because there's no guarantee.
Well,
because at that point Juju would only be 1 year in, and if they use the same criteria that they just used with Caitlin Clark, it's very possible that Juju could be left off it.
Yeah, but Caitlin wouldn't have been in the league for a year, and then the Olympic team would have came about.
Right,
but
Caitlin had already been working out with the team for over a year. When they released the statement, they said that majority of these women had been playing together for 3 years, and their coaching staff preferred that over Caitlin Clark, who had only spent the last year with them.
Yeah.
So I'm not, and that's not to say Juju won't be deserving. I'm not going that far. I'm just saying that we've already seen a precedent where they've tried to say, "Hey, you weren't with us long enough."
By then they'll realize they didn't capitalize.
Maybe. Right, maybe they will. But I'm just saying, we know how these things work because there's always going to be, you call it whatever you want. There's always going to be animosity when the young guns is coming in. When you got the young guns on the verge of taking over, there's always going to be a couple people that's like, make them wait just a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let me go to Justin's next question. NBA draft is this week. Any players catch your eye? I know it's some good players, but overall might be a weak draft. Respectfully, I just don't think we're checking for the NBA draft this season like we have been checking for the NBA draft, in years in the past, and it's partly contributed to how great the women have been and how show stopping they have been. But the other parts of that is there ain't really been nobody that's really like just standing out on the men's side coming into this draft like that. And that's not to say there's not gonna be good players coming out of this draft, great players coming out of this draft, future all-stars, future all NBA players. It's not to say any of that. But right now, in this moment, when you have a situation where the women have just skyrocketed and blown up, and the guys are just like, think about it. We didn't talk about the tournament like that this year.
Not at
But
all.
the women's,
Not
but
at all.
but the narrative was, mostly about the woman. There wasn't anybody stand out. You know what I mean? This year like that to where everybody's this big talk about the NBA draft. So again, no disrespect to the guys that are coming in this season, but it just what I'm saying there's nobody that's really like obviously you got the kid Alex Sarr, you got Edie, but like honestly, and the crazy part is right is who's the most talked about person in this year's draft, Eric?
I mean, I don't want to say his name because then we're gonna go down that path of
But no,
talking.
for purposes right now, you can say it.
Ronnie.
Right? And he's not even in the stratosphere of somebody who was like a great dominant collegiate player. That's what respect to Bronny, but it just facts are the facts. He wasn't a top guy in college basketball, so that should tell you how the drop that we're seeing in this year's draft class. If the most talked about person in the draft class is somebody who's not even a lottery pick, or may not even be a first round pick realistically,
Probably
or a pick period. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he'll get drafted just off the strength, but he's what I mean? Like that's who we're talking about the most in this draft. So I just, like I said, those are the two names I mentioned. Those are probably the two biggest names with Alex Sarr and Zach Edey. But outside of that, bro, nobody's really talking about these dudes. And again, I want them to do well. I always want people to do well. So it's not nothing like that. But we just gotta call a spade a spade.
I'm not excited for the draft, but I mean, Rob Dillingham is probably my favorite player in the draft, the point guard out of Kentucky. He's a guy that I paid attention to since he was in high school. I think he's a dynamic player. I think the style of play in the NBA is perfect for him because it's going to be a lot of high pick and rolls. I think he's better than a majority of the guys that are being talked about in front of him. But if he does slide down to the Spurs at 8 and it's him and Wemby, that is going to be a phenomenal pick and roll combination for years to come. So from a fan perspective, I think if he goes to San Antonio, that's like the perfect landing spot for him. But we got to see how that plays out. But he's my favorite guy. Will Gordon saying Alex Sarr to the Wizards. More than likely, that's all the rumors right now with the Wizards at the number 2 pick.
You think Atlanta lets that go?
Well, the 2 foreign guys are the top 2 prospects right now. Atlanta. I don't even know if Atlanta knows what direction they want to go with their team.
Yeah, because you still got 2 guys that both play in the same position pretty much.
They're gonna have to figure out a couple of things because it's not only just the Murray Bogdanovich dynamic. I mean, Murray Trey Young, but you still got Bogdanovich there that they got to figure out that situation as well. So they got a log jam in their backcourt that they got to figure out. Even if they were to take Alex Sarr, then they got to try to find a trade partner for Clint Capella because he still owed a lot of money on the books, which makes no sense. So they got a lot of issues on that team. I don't think Atlanta knows where they're going to go. Alex Sarr to the Wizards would be a good building block because the Wizards for years, shout out to Will Gordon, he knows we've talked about it so long. The Wizards for years have just continued to draft the same type of player over and over. So you got to go, different way.
Yeah. So, and again, I mean, it sucks because Eric and I are actually big fans of the draft. I remember there was one year we were in studio and we had tickets to go to the draft because it was at the Barclays Center, and we kind of had to split. And we said like two of the hosts went to the Barclays Center, 2 of them stayed in the studio, and it was like, damn, it was kind of a sacrifice because everybody wanted to go to the draft that night. Now it would have been like, man, y'all go ahead, y'all do that. We're gonna do the show tonight. It's all good, man. Oh my goodness. But let me go to this next question. Kyrie Thompson, why does LeBron James and Rich Paul, even when Ham was fired, keep putting out their LeBron isn't involved with coaching, but then his guy gets picked. Because people gonna talk about it either way, so it don't really matter what he says, because they always gonna feel that way. And again, superstars have a say so. It's not just LeBron who has a say so in who his coach is. Superstars in general have a say so in who the coach is. But I will say this, and I'm only going by JJ Redick's comments from his press conference. He said he did not speak to LeBron about this. He didn't speak to him until after they made him an offer. So.
First of all, this is a great way for JJ to start his coaching career because he's an effing liar. You can't tell me you and Bron do a podcast. You and Bron have on film talked about strategies and broke down film. You're telling me y'all never spoke about, hey, the Lakers might be interested in bringing you over as a head coach, or hey, the Lakers reached out to me. How do you feel about it, Bron? Like, come on. That's full of it. JJ is playing games. Kyrie, you know why Bron and Rich Paul do this. Because they try to wash their hands of any accountability when it comes to these type of things. We know they handpicked JJ Redick. We know that this was the guy that they were targeting for quite some time. And this is one of the comments and statements that I've made for several weeks now, that LeBron wants to control everything revolving around the organization if he's going to be a part of the organization. This is why Danny Hurley was not going to take the job. And this is why other veteran head coaches were not going to take the job, because they knew this was Bron and Rich Paul behind the scenes controlling it. And I'll take it a step further. I don't know if you guys saw this statement that Rich Paul recently made, which was so crazy that I don't know why it hasn't gained more headway and headlines. Rich Paul recently, when someone asked about the whole Bronny James thing, and he said, if we wanted Bronny James to be a Laker, we would just make the Lakers pick him. That was his exact statement. So don't tell me y'all not controlling what's happening and y'all not in Rob Pelinka's ear to make the decision. When Rich Paul literally came out and said, if it was just about him going to the Lakers, we would make the Lakers pick him. We know what's going on behind the scenes. JJ Redick's going to be the head coach, and whatever moves come from this, whatever trades are done over the next 2 weeks, because now it's no longer a tampering period. Remember back in the day, Trip, I know I sound like an old guy saying get off my lawn. Back in the day, you had to wait till July 1st, but now we don't have to wait till July 1st anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers are going to make moves based around what LeBron wants. It has nothing to do with Rob Pelinka or anyone else. They pick JJ Redick. They're going to build the roster the way LeBron wants. And I'm sorry, guys, we're going to spend a whole offseason answering your questions about LeBron James and the Lakers again.
So let me ask you this then. Was the contract offered to what's this from UConn, the coach from UConn? What was Dan that? Hurley. To Dan Hurley, was that just the Lakers saying, all right, we're gonna make this offer just so people don't think that LeBron is the guy who's really picking the coach?
No, I think Jeannie Buss and some in the front office were interested in Danny Hurley. But I think what scared Danny Hurley was that when they sat down and he probably wondered how much input is Bron going to have on my day-to-day coaching, is when he said, no, I'm not going to be LeBron James' puppet. So, again, LeBron is going to want a guy that he can control and say, we're going to run this type of offense, and this is how I want the team built, and these are the guys I want on the floor with me. And through the media and through my podcast, I'm going to angle to get certain guys, because that's what he's always done. Even last year, before Kyrie got traded to Dallas, was LeBron not angling through the media about how much he wanted to play with Kyrie again and trying to put pressure on him to make the move, the same way he did the year before when he put pressure on him to go get Russell Westbrook? He wants to control it, and I don't think Dan Hurley was willing to do that. Danny Hurley said it's not worth the headache. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let somebody undermine me. JJ Redick is willing to do it because JJ Redick has never been a head coach anywhere, and he wants to prove that he can be a head coach. So he's willing to deal with the shenanigans that come with LeBron James.
Plus, this is his boy already, so
of course they do it. Again, they do it, bro. It's like you asking me to coach your team. You're my man's. We do a podcast already.
Exactly.
But then I would go in front of the supporters and say, I promise you, me and Trip we've never spoken about this ever before. This is a shock to me and my family.
You gotta hold it down, man. Stand on business. We stand on business.
Get the fuck out of here.
Hoopballer Scoop says, question, who when healthy is the best player, Kyrie Irving or Dame? That's tough. That's tough. Honestly, if you said one, I'm not gonna be mad. If you said the other, I'm not gonna be mad. That's just how I feel about it, because they're both superstars. They're both all-time greats. I mean, if resume wise, I guess you got to give Kyrie the edge. But if we're just talking about ability and what they're able to do on the court, it's even.
I mean, Kyrie's resume is more impressive. Obviously, he's played in 4 NBA finals. He's won an NBA finals. He has probably the most iconic shot in NBA finals history, or at least game 7 NBA finals history. But I'm gonna say Dame, because outside of Kyrie's moments playing along other big stars, Kyrie has always struggled as a leader. We know that for a fact. And he struggled to have success when he hasn't had those big stars next to him. So I'm gonna give the nod to Dame. But again, you can't go wrong either way, because we know peak Kyrie was phenomenal. But I mean, the best version of Dame is crazy as well. I mean, let's not forget Dame averaged, over 30 a couple times in this league. He's a phenomenal ball player as well. I'm gonna say Dame.
Luca needs to take the summer serious. Let's be real. Get in the best shape of your life. To me, he gets fatter as the season goes on. Should the Mavs ownership get on him? The problem with that is you don't want to make Luca feel like, man, this my ish. Don't tell me what to do, and then he want to be out at some point. Then he start talking about trade. I think the good thing is he'll be playing in the Olympics this summer, so that will help with the first part of that one. What you're saying. He needs to be in better shape coming into the season. So if he's playing basketball pretty much all year round this year, that's going to be a huge contributor to that, because right now he's probably already practicing with his country. So that'll be a help for him.
Yeah, I mean, when we say get in shape, he's never had like a super athletic build. This is who he's always been since he came in the league. So I don't know if that really changes much. Yeah, I mean, he could probably trim down a little bit, but he's never going to be fast and athletic. His game is always going to be methodical the way it is right now. And I don't think ownership will get on him, but I do think they will try to challenge him a little bit more. And there are certain guys within that front office, their GM, and specifically on the court, and God Shamgard, who's an assistant coach, who Luka has high respect for. So I think those people will challenge Luka to take the all season more serious and really look at this year and say, hey, look, you see what this marathon consists of, right? Not just an 82 game season, but these 4 tough playoff rounds where each round gets tougher and tougher. So we need you to really dedicate yourself this off season to prepare for that type of grind, and understanding that just because the NBA schedule cuts off in April doesn't mean that's what we're training for. We're training to try to play into June, and we need you to be prepared for that.
Xavier Andrews, fellas, let's be 100. Mavs play Celtics 15 times. Celtics win 13 of them. I mean, if we're basing stuff what we just saw in the finals, then yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. Or maybe it might be it was if they played 5 and they won 1, so 10 would have been 2, maybe 2.5. So
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'm not gonna dispute it because the Celtics are the champs. So I can't. It's not much to dispute. Like you said, they won in 5 games. So I mean, if you're telling me Kyrie's going to play that bad in 13 out of the 15 games, yeah, the Celtics are going to win. If Kyrie plays better, maybe the Mavs do get more games than just 2. But ultimately, it doesn't matter how many times they play, because it's a 7-game series, and that's what matters most. The Celtics won a 7-game series.
Yeah. Let me see what else we got up here. Oh, okay, yeah, let's talk about this one. Excuse me. A sneaky great move out west. Alex Caruso goes to the Thunder, and the dude that Josh Giddey goes to the Bulls. Thunder got better and got a great defender and shooter. Yeah, I think so. I thought that was a good pickup for OKC. Is it enough to get them over the hump in the playoffs? I don't know about that. But it was a good pickup for them. I like Caruso, so yeah, I think he's going to be a good fit for them.
It's a great pickup for them. Another great defender, can knock down the corner 3. He will be great alongside Shea and Jalen Williams, the young Jalen Williams on the perimeter, who's developing now. But the Thunder still are lacking a major piece, and that's on the interior, because even if they had got by Dallas, I don't think they could have beat Minnesota. Chet isn't ready yet as your lone interior presence. You got to add another interior presence there, and we also expect Denver to be back next year as well. So they got to get better on the interior if they want to compete with the better teams in the West. But it is a great pickup for them.
Facts. Let me see. Oh wait, Latina. Can I go against that? Who do you take off the team? Oh, I'm assuming she's referring to the women's team. Let's say,
she put that statement up as we were talking about the Olympic team.
Well, one I would take off would be Diana, even though I know she got OG status, but it's kind of be like, now you can let the young girls rock. The second player I would have to like really break things down and see, because realistically, and to put Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark on, you really got to take three people off, right? Because I forget her name, the one that's like the second leading scorer in the league right now. She probably should have had a spot on the roster too. So you talking about you got to take three people off, but one of them would be Diana. Like as far as just where she is in her career right now. I just feel like if somebody had to get the clip, Diana Taurasi would be one. After that, I'd have to really like break down the roster to see who we could.
Yeah, I'm not going to break down the roster on who we could take off, because that was one of the things I said. I don't want to get into a debate of who's more worthy than this person. Like I think that's tough. I'm just stating from the perspective of growing the brand, growing the game, and then also give you an opportunity to kind of roll out the fresh faces that are going to be part of that next Olympic. You could have taken advantage of, like you said, Clark and Reese, or if you wanted to go Reese or Clark, either way, you could have rolled it out that way. But it is what it is. So you don't have to take nobody off the team. I just personally, I think it's a missed opportunity, because I think you're not going to get as much intrigue, because we don't expect any of these games to be close. So what are we really tuning in for?
Exactly.
Right.
Kyrie Thompson says, question for you all. On the current team, who can still make the 2028 team? Asia, Brianna, Sabrina, Kalea Cooper. Yeah, pretty much that I would say all of those names as you said right there. I'm hoping Diana don't say she gonna play on the
Diana won't be a part of the next team.
So, but yeah, I think you got it right there. I think everybody that you just said will be on that next team as well.
Right.
That'll be the core. Was that 5 right there? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that'll be the core right there, and then they'll pick whoever else around them. Right. Then you'll see those two. You'll see these women here. Then that's when you'll see Caitlin Clark. You'll see Angel Reese. You're probably gonna see Cameron Brink on that on that list as well.
By then, Paige Buckers will be in the league for a few years, so she'll probably be on the team. So it's a couple young pieces. Like I said, the current team is a little older, so you don't expect many of these same holdovers for the next Olympic go round. So there'll be opportunities.
Yo, how is this only Steph Curry's first USA Olympics? Was he hurt during the last few? I think he played on World Games, but in 2016, 21, maybe he was hurt. 2016, I don't think he wasn't hurt, because that was the year they lost to the
But he had that surgery that summer. Remember, because he had the ankle injury.
Okay, so
the playoffs. Yeah.
What it is. That's
yeah. He had the ankle injury, so he had the surgery that year. And then 2021, I'm trying to remember, was that he might have been hurt then too. Yeah, because prior to 2022, they had missed the playoffs those couple years when he was dealing with some injury. So it's possible he was hurt then too. Yeah.
I gotta be injured, because I couldn't see no reason why Steph would not be on.
Yeah, he probably opted out because of injury. Either injury or some sort of procedure he was having done.
Yeah. Wait, what? I just seen this comment. Is this
No, that's not. Don't put that up. That's not real.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, what the hell? I know I didn't hear that. Oh, okay. I see it. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this, but since they did bring that up really quick, because they I said was it? I think was it Who Balls Coop that posted this? Where do you rank Shaq all time amongst centers?
Yeah.
I said third. Eric, I don't know where you have him, but I had him as third.
So are we saying Kareem and Wilt are 1 and 2?
Yeah, at least that's what I said.
I'm cool with Kareem and Wilt being 1 and 2. I mean, Kareem is definitely number 1 for me. If you want to put Wilt number 2, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
It might be an unpopular opinion, but I would put Hakeem over Shaq.
Now there's what so that was what I was gonna say too. The only other big man that I would say over Shaq would be Hakeem. Now my next question would be then so where are we putting Bill Russell? So now is Bill Russell 5?
Well, I think Bill Russell drops down a little bit because I would put those 4, and then and just to be fair, I think Shaq was a more dominant force at his peak, but I think Hakeem was far more skilled.
Yeah,
So
and
that's why I have Hakeem. That's why I have Hakeem just ahead of him. But I'm okay
Yeah.
if somebody has Shaq ahead of Hakeem. That's fine. To me, I think Hakeem.
And I know Shaq. People will argue, "Oh, well, Shaq wasn't in his prime." Yeah, but did you see how they dominated?
No, that's fine. It's fine that he wasn't in his. It's fine that he wasn't in his prime, but that still doesn't take away from how great Hakeem was too. Like Hakeem.
That's what I'm saying. But because
Hakeem,
people are going to try to throw that in there. Well, but Shaq
right.
wasn't in his prime when they played in the finals.
Hakeem played in 3 NBA finals. He won 2 of them. He got robbed of an MVP award.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hakeem was just more skilled. That's that. But again, that's my opinion. But if you got Shaq, that's cool. Bill Russell, in terms of resume, probably should be in that conversation. It's tough, bro. Because I think maybe it's too early to have this debate right now. I think when it's all said and done, I think the Joker is going to be higher than Bill Russell.
See, okay, here's the thing though, right? Certain stats weren't being calculated.
It's not, but it's not even about the. It's not even. I don't. All right, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Bill Russell's era. So you know how like when we're ranking guys, we kind of like, all right, we got to count a couple of different things, right? Did he win a championship? What was the individual accolades like? Were they two-way players? Like there's certain things that you gotta go across the line. I mean, as dominant as Shaq was, I still don't think anybody was more dominant than Wilt Chamberlain. During his run. But yeah, I guess with Russell, the thing with Russell is just like I mean, just 11 championships. It's just like it's just hard to get past that when you think about 11.
And that's why I say the resume is the part that I think makes it very difficult to like knock him down the list. But in terms of skill, I think the Joker is more skilled than Russell.
Yeah.
And then also we got to take, and this isn't Russell's fault, just like it's not Will's fault. We got to take into account. We're talking about an NBA that had like 8 teams in it at the time. The Celtics from that era of Celtics, I think they got 6 Hall of Famers from that team.
Now,
really, hold on. Like, even if you ask Celtic fans, I don't think they even have Bill Russell as the best player on those teams. Was he better than Cousy and Havlicek? And this is like
you could argue. I think it's a debate. I think
it's a debate, and that's fair. And to be fair, this is way before our era, so I don't want to pretend that I was watching the games at that time, knowing what people were saying about them. I'm just going off the history of the game. Most people have Havlicek and Cousy as greater Boston Celtics. Russell is the ultimate winner. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of people who say Havlicek and Cousy were better Celtics.
Now here's where I would throw a little bit, try to play devil's advocate a little bit, right? So you say, all right, well, in Bill Russell's era, there weren't as many guys with their skill sets and could do what they did and dominated the way they did at that center position, right? So what I would kick back at you is, but you know what was also going on at that time?
Yeah,
nobody's dealing with right now is the amount of racism that they had to deal with.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? To mentally to still be as dominant as you are, and you got people throwing horse heads in your bed. Mm-hmm. You got all type of things, and for Bill Russell, a lot of that was coming from his own fans.
Yeah, Bill had to deal with a lot. I want to ask you this though, Trip, right? In terms of skill set, and I'm not hating on Bill Russell, but in terms of skill set, like the modern day comparison for me of Bill Russell would be like a Dwight Howard, like a less athletic version of Dwight Howard. Because Bill was a great defender. Bill was a great passer. He wasn't the offensive guy that Wilt was, right? Because he didn't have to be. He had a little bit more help.
So that's what I would go with it then to say, because who knows how many points per game Bill Russell could have averaged if you take away, like, think about it. Wilt didn't never have the teams that Bill Russell had. Bill Russell had the Celtics teams.
Wilt has some good teams.
Yeah, but not for. Think about it.
He played with Jerry West for a long time. Like, them Laker teams were some good teams.
Yes, but for the Celtics to run off 11 straight, there was levels between that Celtics teams and every other team in the league.
It wasn't 11 straight, Trip. They won 11. They won 11. I want to say, it was like 11, like in a very short amount of time.
It was 13 years, 11 and 13 years, right? So that's still that team was the most dominant team, and it wasn't even close in that era. Will you agree with that?
Correct.
So I'm saying, so who knows what he's scoring when even, because I do like the comparison to Dwight, but the difference is with Dwight and Bill is Dwight ain't have no Kuzi or no Havlicek.
Right.
He was playing with Orlando. He just wasn't an offensive guy like that. He was gonna get you his 14, but he was an athletic defensive big man that could jump out the gym.
Right.
That's what Dwight was, but he never have that team. So obviously we can't go back, but who knows what Bill Russell, his offensive numbers look like if he doesn't have those Hall of Famers next to him for the bulk of his career.
Yeah, and I mean, that's where it gets tough. And like you said, that's where we're playing devil's advocate, because I don't want to knock down anybody's game.
Yeah.
And diminish any accomplishments. I don't know. I guess Bill, as of right now, as we're having this debate, Bill is 5.
I can't take him out of the top 5.
Right now, no. All right, so that's fair. Right now, he's 5. Yeah. But I think when it's all said and done, he's probably dropping to 6, because I think Joker is going to be higher on the list than him.
Okay, so now, in order for that to happen, Joker is going to have to add a lot to his resume, though. Because it can't just be, let's just say, all right, if Joker retires with, let's give him 3 championship rings and 4 MVPs. Is that enough?
Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be enough.
That's to move him into the top 5?
Yeah, because I think all the other accolades are going to be so much stronger. I think when you and I have talked about this plenty of times, so I don't want to go down this whole path again. Mm-hmm. Championships come into play when you're talking about levels of greatness. Once you have 1 or 2 championships, like now it's like you're already in elite. You're already in elite status, right? That starts to just separate you from everybody else. So if all the other accolades are strong enough and you got multiple championships, because nobody's gonna get 11.
No, that's not gonna happen.
Right, like that's never gonna happen. So we can't measure him up, Pauls. We can't get him to like say, oh, he got to get to 10 to be a conversation. Like, no, if he gets to 2 or 3, it's like now we can have a real conversation, because you're a multiple time champion with all these other accolades. Because at this point, he already got 3 MVPs in 4 years.
Yeah, because I think because when you rank Hakeem, and I have Hakeem ranked high as well, he's a multiple NBA champion, multiple time NBA champion, right. So he can be in those conversations. So yeah, so we got to see what Joker does,
right,
his career, and then we'll see if he's able to pass Bill Russell. But right now I think we're both in agreement on the top 5 big men are Kareem, Wilt, Hakeem, Shaq, and Russell. Right, those are the 5.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Let me see. Did I miss any of the comments in here? Yeah, I got a couple more. Shout out to Pooh. And Pooh, first of all, Pooh, we had a bartender. Okay, well, we didn't just have ladies out here just serving us drinks.
No. Pooh, run with that rumor. Put that rumor out there. Don't worry about that. Put that rumor out. Like, them dudes was wilding out. They just had girls serving them drinks. Yeah, just put that rumor out there. We had a homeless guy on the set too. Trip brought a homeless guy on the TV set. what a guy he is, man. He brought that homeless guy out there, and you know what I'm saying. We took him shopping. I think we took him shopping the next day or something like that.
Yeah, we retired from that life though. It's a different life now. We do things differently. All right, let me throw Imani's comment up here, and then we're gonna wrap things up. At the end of the show, talk about that Drake funeral. I mean, Kendrick Lamar legendary concert. OMG. I didn't watch the concert in its entirety. But I mean, from the clips that everyone was posting all weekend, it did seem legendary. I did see Russell Westbrook got on stage. I saw Savannah stop LeBron from getting on stage.
I mean, as she should. Brown don't need to be on stage.
And anytime you can bring the Bloods and the Crips together and it be peace, you can't knock that. So yeah, that's a legendary night in itself because they all just chilling on stage, and you know what I'm saying, it was an amazing night. It was a great night for Kendrick. It was an even greater night for hip hop, as a whole. You gotta love it, man. Shout out to Kendrick on that.
Phenomenal concert. I watched it the other day. Great for the culture, great for hip hop. And Trip, we could probably talk about this. I was going to try to do a Friday Night Live this past week. Had some technical difficulties, so I'm going to let Will Gordon know. Maybe we do it this Friday. I kind of feel like we're experiencing a 50 Cent Ja Rule moment all over again. Because I don't know where Drake goes from here. I think the respect is lost. I think, and you see it. You can see like you said, for somebody like LeBron to want to get on stage, when Braun and Drake have a good relationship, people are picking sides.
I see. So I don't know if it gets to 50 and Ja just
not right. Okay.
Because with 50 and Ja, the violence that ensued also played a part.
I'm just talking from the music standpoint. What it did for Ja, what happened to Ja's career the moment 50 really put his foot on his neck. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's really, I'm be honest, and maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment, but that's what it feels like is happening right now because you see people already starting to distance themselves from Drake.
Yeah. So the only other thing I would say to that is that even at that time, Ja wasn't the number one guy in hip hop,
bro. Yes, he was
number one.
When 50 first started his onslaught against him,
he wasn't the number one because remember Hove was already out.
Ja was the top selling guy.
But he wasn't number one. Drake is right of this era. Drake prior to the whole Kendrick situation.
We're getting into to me, I feel like we're getting into minor details about it. The point being, where his status was and the way he was viewed by his fans to now the way he is viewed by most people and supporters of hip hop has completely changed, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We grew up in that era. We know whether you was a big Ja Rule fan or not, doesn't matter. But we knew, Ja making a lot of hits. He's one of the top guys right now. The moment 50 came through and started crushing him, you started seeing people distance themselves. And other hip hop legends have said that. Fat Joe said the only reason him and 50 ever had a beef was because he was willing to stand next to Ja Rule when everybody else was like, nah, I already see what's happening there. And I think it's going to be interesting. I believe next month is OVO Fest. Let's see what special guest Drake is able to bring out. Because if he struggles to bring guests out, it's going to prove my point that people are keeping their distance from him.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait for that and see. I mean, I guess that'll be the tell, to tell the story of where everything is at. If that happens and nobody comes, he don't got no big names out there, then okay, then maybe. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Eric, give us a final thought, man.
As always, man, love and appreciate the supporters for rocking with us every week. We will be back next week. I'm going to try to do a Friday Night Live this week. Just bear with me. It's been very busy at work. So I've been trying to get the recordings in while also balancing that. But we're going to try this week. But again, appreciate you guys. Continue to support the show. And I look forward to continue to chop it up with you guys.
Yes, sir. Eric, the streets need you back out here. They need you for your next couple of scenes in the show. So
I will be. We've already spoke off air. I'm going to be back in the city. That's probably about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the date is solidified. I'll be back in the city, man. So we getting back to it.
All right, so we definitely we're gonna schedule your shoot date for then. Thank you to all of the supporters. We appreciate y'all. God, thank y'all for being patient with us always. As y'all are. We try to make things happen as quickly as possible because we just want to do that for y'all because we appreciate y'all so much. But we appreciate you guys having patience with us. And I guess if they don't make it on the show on a particular night. So big shout out to you guys for that. Make sure you guys are following us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, Facebook.com/Real Fans Real Talk. And of course, subscribe to that YouTube channel, YouTube.com/For the Fans Productions. And if you're not in New York City on Thursday nights and you can't watch us on Verizon 43, do not worry. You can still watch us from anywhere in the world. Just go to www.realfansrealtalk.com. Click that red button on the homepage. You can watch us from anywhere in the world. And make sure y'all subscribe to the two best podcasts out here moving. That's the Real Fans Real Talk and the Sanchez Show podcast, man. We always dropping new content. So make sure y'all stay in the loop with that. Thank y'all. I'm gonna end the show off. I'm gonna let y'all rock out with that dunk contest video one last time. And we will see you guys next week.
What's going on, Juco?